Hey guys, welcome back. Rapido recently released the F40PH and Amtrak scheme, so I've got a couple for us to look at here. We've got both Phase 2 and Phase 3 early to look at in the Amtrak scheme. MSRP on these is $299.95 for the DC, DCC, and ESU LokSound equipped versions, or $199.95 for the DC only versions. So let's take a look at what you get in these Rapido locomotives starting right now. So let's go ahead and unbox this. Before you do, Rapido is a little different in the fact that they put the actual prototype photo on their box. A really nice box. You've got the details here for what you're getting and the number, and then you've got more Rapido details along the side. So really nice, and then they dual Canadian French it for you because, well, Rapido is a Canadian company and they have a lot of customers up there, and Canada speaks French. There's a little debate on whether that's the national language or not, but they do speak French. So English on this, on the other side. This is the French side, so I'll flip it over here. And this manual is just very, very in-depth. Of course, keep in mind half of it is the French, but overall a lot of details including CVs, functions. They've got different features. You've got the standby mode, which we'll talk about. Funny thing is, the guy that owns Rapido has a sense of humor, and he puts what I call Easter eggs in sometimes the decoder sounds and the manual. There's little jokes in here and lightheartedness that makes us not take the hobby so seriously as some of us get out of control with how seriously we take the hobby. Anyway, exploded parts diagram here. That way if you ever have a part that breaks off or anything problem-wise, you can coordinate the number and find out what you need to order from Rapido. You've got a decal sheet so you can renumber to different sides or different numbers, and then you've got left side and right side here for, you've got different names and all sorts of different details, warning labels, etc. So blank sheet of yellow, that's cool. And then the actual locomotive itself, which is Rapido's Amtrak. On this one we've got Phase 3, which is an early version of Phase 3. Got the foam, plastic, tight squeeze here, plastic sleeve, plastic bracing along with styrofoam top and bottom, and there is the locomotive itself ready to go. So that's the only one we'll unbox, just in the essence of time, but as you can see, it is intact, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and unbox the other one. We'll take a look at both coming up next. Before we get started on the details, I found a little baggie of extra parts. This includes the window grills, as you see here. You may have seen photos of those installed. They simply install under the windshield wipers, and those are to protect the windshield. So overall, at least on the prototype, I don't think you have to worry about anything damaging the windshield unless you drop the locomotive on your HO layout. But let's go ahead and move on to details. Since we unboxed it first, we're going to take a look at the Phase 3. That's the red, white, and blue stripe going along the side of the locomotive. Amtrak's in the center. Number 224, which is the cab number, is dead center as well. Lots of detail to cover, so we're going to go ahead and start with the front. Swing it around here. You have, starting from the very top, as you can see, there's lift rings, there's antenna. You've got beacon lights here. You have a horn that's mounted in between the number boards. You have etched metal windshield wipers, the cab, which is fully detailed, sand filler hatches, separately applied grabs on the front. You've got an LED headlight on the nose. You have MU hoses draped through the snowplow here. Nice metal coupler with trip pin there. More separately applied grabs along the side. You've got the mirror, cab interior detail, as I mentioned. You've got handrails that go up to the cab entry, more separately applied grabs. You've got the ladder here. Nice truck detail. You have dustbin hatch, lift rings, dynamic brake fan, radiator fans. Now Rapido's process of getting locomotives includes getting a scan. So the dimensions are correct all the time because of the scan that they do. It's pretty awesome. You can read more about it on their website, but you've got fuel tank detail along the side here. Going towards the back, more separately apart grabs, safety tread, safety chain, stanchions that are very, very, very durable. You can't get these things to move. It's awesome. Got the rear LED light here. Another metal coupler there with MU hoses along the back here as well. So nice detail. Radiator fan grill here. They painted that very nicely because of the separation from black to silver. They've made that separation even on the grill. No running. It's a very nice true line. So overall, very impressed so far in terms of detail. So here's the Phase 2. Same Amtrak in terms of road name, but different scheme. You see the red and the blue versus the red, white, and blue stripes along the side. Rapido also caught the other changes in the scheme, including the dustbin hatch being silver versus black, the horn being silver instead of black. That's just a couple of the differences. I'm sure there's other ones that you guys that are really in depth could tell me about that I'm not catching. But overall, there are other features I'll point out that I may have missed. Like I forgot to talk about the classification lights. That's where the grills would go into the windshields if you wanted to put them in. You've got the same detail in terms of LED lights, separately applied grabs, etc. But overall, really just wanted to show you the actual scheme here to see the difference. The beacons are supposedly independently operating the first time, so that's pretty cool. You've got the mirrors there. You have just a lot of the detail that Rapido loves to give that we already talked about. So not gonna sound like a broken record here, but pretty nice detail in general, and they've caught all the differences in scheme, so that's pretty sweet. If you guys see anything that you notice, feel free to chime in below in the comments. But there you have Phase 2. So I've applied track power, and now I've got this in the address of 0003, which is 3 is the standard for DC. The lighted number boards already have come on, even though I haven't started the locomotive up. For ESU LokSound equipped locomotives, F8 is the startup, so we'll go through that sequence right now and let you listen. So let's go and listen to some sounds. Bell. Horn. A little grade crossing sequence for you. Now the F3 is the Doppler horn. We won't cover that, but basically it's like the Doppler effect. You hear it kind of fading in and out of based on where your position is. F4 puts it in and out of standby mode. Let's actually talk about standby mode here for a moment. So standby is meant to be used when the train's idling for a long period of time at a station, such as between runs. The HEP is provided by the traction alternator rather than the HEP alternator. Since the traction alternator is being used for HEP and not for the traction motors, the locomotive cannot move. The prime mover rotates up to 720 RPM, which roughly sounds like about notch 6. So we're going to go ahead and hit the standby mode, which is F4. It'll take you in and take you out of standby mode. So let's hit that. So now we're out of standby mode, F4. Now F5 goes into run mode. Now once the F40PH is in run, the prime mover is rotating at 893 RPM. And the second engineer can turn on the HEP to the passenger cars. From a railfan's perspective, there's no noticeable difference in the sound of the locomotive between run without the HEP turned on and run with the HEP turned on. So we don't have an extra button for that. That's what Rapido is saying right out of the manual. In general practice, the locomotive is kept in run for its entire trip, i.e. from terminal to terminal, or in here it says terminus to terminus, even if it is making several station stops along the way. Note that the locomotive must be stationary when changing between head-end power modes. This is not likely switching to a third rail on a New Haven FL9. You can't switch on the fly or you'll blow up the engine anyway. So basically that is standby and run mode. So I'm going to go ahead and hit run, F5. It's going to be just a simple press of the button there. Then you can actually, you know, go into operation or whatever. So let's look at the strobes. These are independently operating strobes. So I've dimmed all the lights so you can see the locomotive's lighting features. You've got the headlight, the lit number boards, and even the light shining down on the trucks by the cab door. You've got the beacon lights which are operating now. You should be able to see very clearly up top. So overall, Rapido's light game is basically on point. You've got the LEDs, so long-lasting lights, and really, really nice details. So pretty impressed so far with this locomotive. So that covers a lot of the details. Let's go ahead and check out the operation. I'm going to go to switch over to 128 speed steps, and we'll just move one here. Now this hasn't been broken in, and there's a feature called the awesome slow speed thingy where you can actually do a couple different things and get this to operate even better. But I want to show you out of the box how this runs, and at 1 it is still very, very smooth. So nice. That's number 2 speed step. Jumped to number 4 by accident, but that's okay. 5, 9, jumping to 10. Yeah, we're moving pretty good. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and check out reverse here. There's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now that we've got the loco back center frame, just wanted to test out the actual slow speeds, and it's very, very good just out of the box. Now they talk about several different things in the manual. I told you about the humor, so let me just read to you what they say about break-in. Break-in. No, we don't mean you should break into your buddy's layout room so you can take his Rapido F40 locomotives, and don't stand in a Santa outfit ringing a bell for your hobby budget. That money is not supposed to be from all train purchases. Go get a job. Every locomotive needs a break-in period. Your F40PH has been tested at the factory for about 30 seconds. It's not enough time to get the gears to mesh nicely or to even out any jerky operation in a new motor. We suggest that after reading the manual, you put your F40PH on a test loop and let it run in each direction for an hour or 2, fast and slow. If your layout is purely imagery, you can probably skip this step. There already should be enough grease in the gearbox, so you don't need to add any more, just let the thing run. So they're pretty frank and pretty funny in their manual, but it's a good thing to talk about break-in, because out of the box I do test these locomotives and they do really, really well. Rapido is one of the best in terms of slow speed, but this hasn't even been broken in, and you still have a real nice smooth drive. So that's a testament to Rapido's motor and ESU's control. So I think those two things are very, very well executed to get this locomotive running as smooth as it does out of the box. The awesome slow speed thingy is basically where you set CV54 to a value of 0, and then you get out of the programming mode and you turn on the bell. Your locomotive has to be in forward, and then it'll kind of take off on you. We've tested it before, and then it's even better running than what you see out of the box as well. So if you do the break-in and the awesome slow speed thingy, you'll be fine. And we tested the awesome slow speed thingy before. It works great, so no need to take more video time to test it again. That covers operation. Let's wrap this review up. Well, there's nothing much more to say about the Rapido F40PH review. A lot of nice detail, smooth running, great sound, what we've been expecting from Rapido and what they've delivered for many years now. So pretty impressed with the locomotives. I'm going to leave you with one thought. The MSRP in Canada is $249.95 for DC and $349.95 for DCC and ESU LokSound equipped locomotives, where in the US it's $199 for DC and $299 for DC, DCC, and ESU LokSound equipped locomotives. So a little bit of a price difference of about $50 more in Canada. I just wanted to let you guys know that because I had questions about that before from some of my Canadian viewers. Now I'm going to leave you with a run-by of these two nice locomotives on my layout in a couple different scenes. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.